Hello? Thanks for joining us again on the channel. This one's been on my radar for a while, and now, thanks to a friend who got his hands on it, I finally get to share the experience with you. Before we get started, feel free to check out the discount link in the description and the pinned comment. Now, let's not waste any more time and jump right into the details.
Now, let's hear directly from our first reviewer about their experience.
This reviewer likes to put a product through its paces before sharing their thoughts. So far, this router has been performing quite well, offering better signal strength and faster speeds than the device it replaced. Our reviewer also noted that the connection is very stable and hasn't dropped any clients, which was a constant issue with their previous hardware. The web interface for managing the settings is decent enough, providing a good number of controls in its advanced mode, even if the visual design isn't their favorite. However, the main sticking point for this user involves the router's USB port, a feature they were excited to use for network storage. The problem is a significant limitation in file system support. The device only recognizes older formats, specifically NTFS and FAT32. While NTFS works fine for Windows, it's generally read-only on Macs, making file transfers a one-way street. The other option, FAT32, works on both systems but is an outdated standard that can't handle individual files larger than 4 GB. This is a deal-breaker for anyone with 4K movies, large system backups, or other big files. Crucially, the router lacks support for exFAT, the modern standard for portable drives that works seamlessly across all operating systems without the file size limitation. This means many newer USB drives simply won't work with this router out of the box. This client points out that the only solutions are to reformat the drive, which erases all data and limits its future use with Macs, or buy a different drive. Our reviewer feels that while the router is a solid performer for Wi-Fi, this failure to support a current, essential standard for its USB feature is a major flaw that makes them wary of the brand's future products.
Fantastic. Now, let's see what insights our next reviewer has to offer.
This reviewer, a senior citizen with limited tech skills, decided to upgrade their decade-old router with this newer model. The initial setup proved a bit tricky. Our reviewer ran into some confusion with the installation video and reached out to customer service. While the first few email exchanges didn't quite resolve the initial question about modem connections, the support team was incredibly responsive and patient. The reviewer acknowledges the problem might have stemmed from their own unfamiliarity with the technical jargon. Eventually, the support staff clarified the crucial point of disconnecting other devices from the modem during setup. The quick setup guide on the manufacturer's website was helpful, but this client feels it didn't adequately emphasize the importance of connecting to their internet provider through the computer's network settings. In Windows 11, this step wasn't as straightforward as it used to be in older operating systems, requiring a bit of digging in the menu. After sorting that out, establishing a stable connection became possible. Despite the setup hurdles, the reviewer is ultimately happy with this device's performance. Surprisingly, they're even getting faster speeds than what their internet provider advertises. There's still some minor buffering on a few websites, but they suspect it's not the router's fault. One limitation is not being able to manually select Wi-Fi channels, which could potentially resolve the buffering issue. However, customer service assured the reviewer that the router's automatic optimization would handle it. Overall, despite the initial setup confusion and slight buffering, this reviewer gives the experience a glowing recommendation. The excellent customer service and solid performance of this network hub outweigh the slightly unclear instructions and interface. They were debating between 4 and 5 stars due to the minor interface instructions issue but leaning toe.
Excellent. Let's find out what our next reviewer has to share about their experience.
This reviewer was a bit hesitant to replace their old router, a trusty device that had served them for a good 15 years. Even though it wasn't delivering the fastest speeds, it was reliable enough, and the thought of setting up a new one was daunting, especially after previous unsuccessful attempts. So when the old one finally gave up the ghost, our reviewer reluctantly bought this wireless router. The initial experience, however, was far from smooth. In fact, it was filled with frustration. The wireless connection was incredibly unstable, dropping every few minutes, and even their printer refused to connect wirelessly. But after a couple of weeks of troubleshooting, the client had a revelation. The issues were self-inflicted. It turns out that using an old Ethernet cable and the old adapter, which were the first mistakes, were the root of the problem. Despite being advised to use new cables, they figured the old ones would suffice. Replacing both with the ones included with the new wireless router, specifically the adapter, was the key. Suddenly, the disconnections stopped and stability was restored. The only remaining hurdle was the printer. After reinstalling the printer driver, following slightly different instructions this time, it finally connected wirelessly again. The lesson learned: when the instructions recommend using new accessories, listen to them. Despite a rocky start, our reviewer is now enjoying the internet speeds they've been paying for, and the wireless network is finally stable, all thanks to this new wireless router. Also, the ability to use the old network name and password helped to avoid the hassle of having to reconnect all of their devices to the network.
That's a wrap. If you enjoyed this, drop a like and subscribe for more. Got thoughts? Let's chat in the comments. See you in the next one.